Last night was the NBA draft, and in this video, we're going to talk about our biggest winners and losers because I think there are a whole lot of winners. We'll talk about a couple losers. I don't know how many you have, Cam. A lot of teams picked good, really well, in my opinion.
My number one biggest winner from the draft last night, the first round of it at least, was the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think for the picks that they were positioned to pick at and, who they were positioned to get, they got the best possible guys that they could get. I mean, they got Aday at 12, which going into the draft seems surprising. Maybe if you look at some of the draft boards that came out a couple months ago before a lot of the combines and stuff like that, he was projected to go a lot lower in the first round. After the shooting drills, the combine, everything like that, he was projected to potentially be a top 8 guy, falls all the way down to 12 where they get him. And I mean, just you want to talk about a Wemby stopper. We'll have to see how he translates to the NBA, but a 7'4" guy with a 7'6" wingspan is certainly a presence to have in the paint next to Chet Holmgren. And he was asked a lot of questions about it in his post-draft presser. They obviously asked him a lot of questions about guarding Wemby, what that's going to be like, et cetera, et cetera. And I was actually really impressed by how he took on the questions. He seems excited for the task of guarding Wemby, which maybe that's something that'd be frustrating to guys coming into the draft. I mean, why are you asking me all these questions about another guy? I was a lottery pick, but he seems fully prepared. He understands he seems to understand that that's the reason he got drafted at this spot to this team. And I mean, we'll have to see because that's a scary duo of bigs to have defensively in the paint. And he's a guy that can clearly stretch the floor when his shot is on. So hopefully injuries are not a concern for him. Also got Bennett, Stirtz, an experienced college guard who showed a lot of polish this season for Iowa and had to be kind of the only offensive creator for them. So he's coming into a situation with a lot of defenders around him. He should not be uncomfortable with that at all. And I think he fits very well. I think he fits much better for their goals next year than a guy like Topic. Now, we'll have to see if he cracks the rotation or not. I would assume he at least gets somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 minutes during the regular season at the start, and then we'll have to see how he performs. But I think it's another excellent pick. I think this was a draft that really allowed Sam Presti to show some skill drafting because a lot of his skill has been in collecting assets. Now he's capitalizing on them, and I think both of these picks are going to be beneficial for the Thunder next year.
Yeah, I mean, they traded two second-round picks to move up one spot to take Stirtz, which, you know what? You're the Thunder. I think in the next 6 years, they had like 12 or 13. No, it was 15 second-round picks. Go ahead and I'm not even going to say waste them, but kind of waste them. Stirtz is amazing. He's going to get minutes immediately. He's just an offensive weapon. I actually think, like, as a guard, he will be the second best offensive guard on the whole team. So I think he will get minutes immediately. And some people were talking about how they thought OKC would package 12 and 17 to move up, but I really like what they did in keeping it and getting these cheap contracts because some people in my comments and even my dad was talking to me and saying that like the Thunder don't have the roster spots for all these rookies. And I say, no, you want as many rookie contracts alongside J-Dub, Chet, and Shea as you can get because them combined, they're probably making like $150 million. So this actually, and then drafting Aday actually gives them flexibility to potentially let go of Isaiah Hartenstein. If they don't want to pay him $30 million, which, I mean, that's a lot of money for a center who's playing, 25 minutes a night in the playoffs, maybe even a little bit less than that. So I definitely think they're winners. So I'll just go ahead and give my biggest loser right now. It's the Dallas Mavericks. I think not only did they reach with Morez Johnson, I think Morez Johnson is a good player, but I don't understand how he'll fit next to Cooper Flagg. And I think that the Dallas Mavericks right now, besides Kyrie Irving, who's 34 years old, and AJ Johnson, who's not good at basketball, they have no guards for the future, no guards to potentially pair alongside Cooper Flagg. And I just think this was the best moment that they could have gotten. And instead, they got Morez Johnson, who, I mean, yes, under the new head coach, he might get the starting spot, but he did play really well for them. And then at pick 25, they traded up from pick 30 and then got Sergio. I'll be honest, I could be wrong about Sergio, but from what I've seen, he doesn't look too impressive. I mean, there's a reason he's a 6'7" guard, and he fell even to pick 25 because he like skill-wise, he isn't that good. He's not going to be that good of a defender. I don't know. I don't see the vision personally with the Mavericks. If they somehow got that 17th pick from OKC and got Morez Johnson or even pick 12, it's like, okay, but there's so many good guards in this class with a lot of potential. And you already have PJ Washington. You have Cooper Flagg. You have Najee Marshall. You have Derek Lively. I mean, he's a 4-5 hybrid. So you already have Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. I just don't even see, one, like how many minutes he can get. And then you're kind of diminishing anyone else's role on the Dallas Mavericks right now. I just think they easily should have went with a guard.
I 100% agree, and I can't really fault them for going De La Rea at that spot at 25 because it's all forwards and centers down there, but they really should have gone guard at 9. I mean, you had a guy in LeBaron Filan who ended up falling really far, which we'll have to see what the reports are that come out, because I don't know why he fell all the way down to 22. But there was guards to take there. You could have taken Brayden Burries. There was just a need to be filled. And clearly they're expecting Kyrie Irving to be back this next season. But I still would think, having a guard play under Kyrie Irving for a year would not be the worst thing in the world at all. So, odd decision by the Mavericks. Who knows when they'll be drafting this high again? Hopefully they won't be drafting this high again if they continue to be good. But that is going to leave an unfulfilled need at point guard for them going into the future with Cooper Flag. So I definitely agree. I mean, I don't know what Morez Johnson is going to be like. He's obviously going to be playing under his head coach, so this is the best opportunity he's going to have for success, but he's not exactly on the younger end of rookies, even considering that he's on the younger end of those Michigan guys that got drafted. So
my biggest winner of the draft, I think they're even bigger winners than the OKC Thunder, is the Chicago Bulls. And a little side winner is going to be the Utah Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies, because they also made the right pick in my decision. But to get Caleb Wilson, who really fits your scheme, and then to draft Dailyn Swain, who is an amazing prospect. I get he's a junior, but he's a very young junior, and he is someone who can he is long. Yeah, he has a good wingspan, and he can get to the rim, and he is efficient at the rim. And he even has a little mid-range too. He can even make an open three. Like he kind of fits the Chicago mold perfectly. And part of me is a little concerned, because I'm like, oh, okay, well, they have Swain, they have Caleb Wilson, they have Matas Buzelis, they have Noah Senge, they now have Claxton. They might now have too much length. But you know what's way easier to trade for than length and defense and these winners? These guards that can't play defense. So if you are one piece away and it's that guard who could create an advantage offensively, I mean, look at the trade values of guys like a Emmanuel Quickly, like a Trae Young, like a Darius Garland, like a James Harden. They go for nothing. They're pretty much salary filler. So if you can get all of your defensive pieces right now, all of your rebounding, all of your length, and later on worry about the skill at the point guard position, then that's actually best case scenario. So I actually love that model from the Chicago Bulls. I think that the new GM is doing an amazing job of starting this rebuild. So they're my biggest winners.
Okay, I can definitely see that too. I think you're underselling the Memphis Grizzlies a little bit. I was actually really impressed by their draft night.
I was. Karim Lopez is not all that.
I was impressed by his draft interview, just personality wise, and you could say that that's not something I should base his quality as a player off of.
It's not.
But when you look at what the Memphis Grizzlies have been over the last few seasons and the culture or lack thereof that's been created there, they just drafted two guys that are both hardworking, that are both going to be committed to being there, that want to build a team and want to have success in the NBA in the right way. It seems like, I mean, Karim Lopez as the first Mexican-born player to ever be drafted in the first round, tears streaming down his face, just a very different vibe than we've gotten from the Memphis Grizzlies in previous years. And Cam Boozer, very calm and collected, probably the most mature out of the top three guys at this current stage of his career. So I like what the Grizzlies did. Plus, they moved down just a couple spots, to get a guy that it seems like they wanted, and they acquired 5 second-round picks, so a ton of draft capital. I think they deserve credit for that as well. My next two winners are kind of they're not massive winners, but I do want to give them credit. Both the 76ers and the Los Angeles Lakers, I think, got absolute steals at 22 and 24 in this draft, with LeBaron Filan Jr. going to the 76ers. Now, it is a crowded guard room there, but he's certainly a very talented player, and I think there will be a place for him on that team without a doubt.
It's only three guards.
It is only three guards, but you're not going to be able to start all three of them, and you would hope that all three of those guys continue to be starting, or I guess that VJ Edgecombe and Maxey continue to be starting caliber, which Maxey will be. He's going to be an all-NBA type guy. But, you'd hope that VJ takes that jump, and then hopefully LeBaron Filan can come in and run that second unit. It'll be interesting to see how it progresses, but as of right now, I think that's a really good pick. And then the Lakers getting Cameron Carr, I think it was probably the steal of the draft, in my opinion, to get him at 24. Insane athletic talent, great shooting ability, especially from deep. He's going to pair next to Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves and LeBron James, most likely. So, I mean, he's going to be able to play whatever role you want him. You want him to play a J.R. Smith role. You want him to be a defender, primarily. He has so much raw talent with also having a lot of polish too. Shocking to me that he fell down to 24. There's a lot of teams in the lottery that I think I would have liked to see take him, but
with that in mind, that's why I'm actually going to say another one of my losers for the draft is Cameron Carr and it's LeBaron Filan Jr. Because now I love what the Sixers did and the Lakers did, because if you could get a really quality bench piece at those low picks, then you take it. Like that's a huge win. But for these guys, Cameron Carr because they are planning on extending Austin Reeves and they already have Luka, there's no starting spot. I'm sorry, he can't play the 3. Austin Reeves can't play the 3. He's never going to be a starter as long as the Lakers are fully healthy. And now the Sixers, yeah, like you said, Maxey and Edgecombe, LeBaron Fallon Jr. is never going to be a starter even when fully healthy, no matter how good he is.
You can say he'll never be a starter, but we just saw the Spurs run a lineup with 3 guys about 6'6" and under. Or sorry, 4 guys about 6'6" and under in their starting lineup. So it's definitely, I could see a lineup of Reeves, Carr, Luka.
It's really easy to do that when you play with Victor Wembanyama. And I guess they have Joel Embiid, the Sixers at least. But like, yeah, the Lakers would never be able to start that with whoever they have.
Well, yeah, but they need to get a center. I mean,
but no matter who their center, I mean, that's Victor Wembanyama. You can have all these skinny guys if you have the length of Wemby to kind of make up for it in case you are getting bodied by one specific offensive guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that there's no way Carr or LeBaron Fallon Jr. can ever really take like a star spot. Now, I think maybe eventually down their career, if they change teams, they could always do that, or they could show their potential, kind of like a Jalen Brunson did with the Dallas Mavericks. But I think them specifically, I think they're losers though.
I mean, well,
it really caps their ceiling of getting paid after 4 years.
I think
they're playing next to these guys.
I mean, I just would hope, and maybe it caps their ceiling at that point.
Would you rather be a Dallas Maverick or would you rather be a Philadelphia 76er if you're LeBaron Fallon Jr.?
Oh, I'd rather be a Dallas Maverick.
And there's a couple different teams like that where Fallon could have easily been the starter.
No, I mean, I agree. I think even if he falls down to the Hawks, he might be a starter. But
yeah, for sure. So that's one reason I have them as big losers. Another loser I have, the San Antonio Spurs. I don't hate the Jayden Quaintance pick. He was supposed to fall. He didn't even get a green room invite, I believe, on draft night. And it's because of the injury concerns. I mean, I actually was reading an article saying that he's probably not going to be available at the start of next season. Like he needs surgery if he's going to long-term be healthy. And even after that surgery, you never know, will the surgery go well? Will he actually recover from the surgery? Like he has such injury concerns and it wouldn't matter that much if he was that good. And I think defensively, he's that good, but like offensively, he hasn't shown much. And yeah, not only does he have injury concerns in the future, he played 4 games for Kentucky this season. So it is a very concerning pick. I'm not saying that there's this really good center prospect that they should have taken over him, but it's just, I think that whole situation, it's a little bit of a loser. I'm not too mad at the pick, but then they get Darius Reed Jr., who might play next season, but like, if you are a 4-year college center and nothing stands out about your game, nothing. I don't know. I look at Darius Reed Jr., I don't see anything about him. I just see a guy who like is kind of all right at everything. Like he could score inside, he could rebound, he could pass a little bit, but like nothing stands out. And then you get Jayden Quaintance. I mean, if Jayden Quaintance makes the rotation, next year, 2 years from now, Darius Reed Jr. is out of the league. I just don't. He might be a guy who gets like 10 minutes a night in the regular season. And the Spurs traded up for this pick. And I guess it is only for pick 35. It was only pick 26. But I still think they could have done something better. They could have got a shooter like Isaiah Evans, who is still available in the second round.
Or they could have got Alex Caravan at that pick.
Or Alex Caravan, yeah, who's like right now will help you win more than a Darius Reed Jr. So I really didn't. I didn't hate the Jayden Quaintance pick, but I really don't like the Darius Reed. So overall, I'm going to have them as losers.
I mean, I just think that they're fulfilling a need, in spades, and maybe they don't need to do that if they have confidence in one of these guys. But for the reasons you just stated, there is reason to have a little bit of a lack of confidence in both these guys. But I just don't know really. You could go Chris Sinak Jr., but I do think you need to fulfill that need at center because Luke Cornett, he had his incredible block in Game 7. I'm not saying he didn't have his moments, but overall, when Wemby was off the court, they struggled really badly, especially on the defensive end of the ball. So I think that getting these 2 guys that are both more defensively minded, I would also give Darius Reed Jr. a little bit more credit. He did really impress me with his play in the NCAA tournament.
What's he going to be really good at?
I think he could be a really good rebounder. I think he could be a really good bench rebounder.
I mean, I guess if you believe that, you're gonna have them as winners. And if you ask every single GM and you watch all the player interviews, everyone's gonna be a winner. Everyone's happy. Everyone had a story. But I just don't believe in Darius Reed Jr. specifically. And I feel like there was a lot of different guys. I even think some Spurs fans were even telling me before the draft, like, hey, we need power forwards. And that's kind of what Jayden Quaintance is. But like, we do need guys to play next to Wemby. Darius Reed Jr. can't do that. I at least Quaintance can. But like, they even could have gotten a guy like Koa Pete. And I guess some people are pretty low on Koa Pete. I'm not the highest, but like, if he gets the 3-pointer, I don't know. I just feel like there were better prospects available. I think Darius Reed Jr. is just a second round kind of guy.
I've got one more winner. It's also on a player basis, similar to how you talked about LeBaron Fallon and Cam and Corbe being losers. This guy's an absolute winner because he went at 7 instead of going at 6. Darius Acuff Jr. is an absolute winner of this draft because he didn't go to the Brooklyn Nets, because he doesn't have to play next to Julius Randle and Michael Porter Jr. and try to get shots from those two guys. I feel bad for Mikel Brown Jr. offensively. Now, he obviously has other aspects to his game, which is probably why the Brooklyn Nets took him here, because they don't need him to be an offensive engine. And I think Acuff fits perfectly in Sacramento. I think it's the ideal situation. You know, a team that has had very little to look forward to over the last few years. Obviously, one great season that inspired a lot of hope, and then right back to the standard. So now you got a player that you can be really excited about. Darius Acuff Jr. does have a super high offensive ceiling and can definitely be that sort of lead scorer guy. But thank God he did not go to Brooklyn, because I do not know how he was going to get shots up next to MPJ and Julius Randle. Because that offense is going to look like Julius Randle dribbling the air out of the ball for about 20 seconds and then kicking it to MPJ and MPJ shooting, and everyone else is going to just kind of sit and rot in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. Are you calling Mikel Brown Jr. a loser then?
I think he's less of a loser simply because his game isn't so predicated on offense, whereas Darius Acuff Jr.'s is. Mikel Brown Jr. can impact the game in other ways and show his value, and I hope that he gets a chance to grow his offensive game, but he can be a multifaceted player. I still really hope he's given priority by the coaching staff. They've got a lot of young players there. I don't know how much faith they have in their 5 first-round picks from last year, if it's all equal. I guess Yegor Demin and Danny Wolf might be the two guys that they have the most faith in going into this season, but Mikel Brown Jr. should get a lot of run. It's just there's a lot of there's not a lot of mouths to feed. There's just a couple of really big mouths on that team. So
Yeah, I could see that. My last final loser is Jared McCain, because he's about to get no minutes again, and he's about to lose all that value. I mean, Bennett Stirtz is taking his minutes. Like, that's just what it is. Like, you already have Kingston, you have Caruso off the bench, you have so many pieces. And I also do hope the way that the OKC Thunder drafted, Casey Wallace can get paid by the Thunder. If not, he might just leave, because that was a big rumor immediately after the Thunder lost, with Casey playing great. But yeah, those are our biggest winners, losers. It was really about the first round, but I'll just go ahead and say, I mean, if you get Isaiah Evans this low in the second round, whoever takes him is going to be a winner. Henry Visar, I think it's Visar. He's a really good center. Whoever gets him will be a winner.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, Malik Thomas is one of the last, he might be the last freshman left. So if you can get a freshman who was really good and really efficient, you're also a winner. So whoever picks those 3 guys will be winners as well.
Yep, and the top 5 picks of the second round to keep an eye on tonight are the Knicks, the Grizzlies, the Timberwolves, the Cavs, and the Nuggets. So those are the 5 teams that are going to have a chance to grab a steal at the top of the second round.
Yeah. I hope the Nuggets get Visar. I think that'd be a really good fit. They need a center, and Darryn Holmes played good, but he can't stay healthy. So
Nope. But yeah, those are our biggest winners and losers, and now it's off-season time. We're going to get into free agency here soon. Lakers just extended Austin Reeves today. I think we mentioned that a little bit earlier. We're getting everything a little bit more solidified in terms of what the NBA is going to look like. We're going to do some ideal off-seasons for some teams. So let us know who you want us to see kind of rebuild or retool or whatever you want to call it. And yeah.
Peace out.